Don't you just love this sound? It gives mystery vibes, right? Like an untold story. Hey, I'm Kieja, and welcome to my podcast. My podcast, I will be talking about the Mary Todd Lincoln Museum and the history and culture behind it. The Mary Todd Lincoln House was the childhood of Mary Todd, who was the future First Lady and wife of the 16th President, Abraham Lincoln. During my research of the space, I learned more and more about Mary Todd Lincoln's childhood and how she was raised in this house up until her teenage years, until where she had recently moved back into the house until she was a grown woman. Then afterwards, she had moved out to live with her sister. Throughout this discovery, I also had found out that she was Abraham Lincoln's wife. Well, almost wife, technically. After researching more about the house, I had came across the person to interview, a friend of mine named Lauren. I had asked her the first question, which was, why would they leave all this land behind?
Honestly, I think that's a difficult question to answer. I think that Mary Todd really just wanted to start new, and she just wanted to go to a different place with a different environment. You know, some people they need to start fresh all over again in order to really be able to grow. It has to be in a different environment so that she can get a better understanding of things and move on with her future.
I feel that this response basically tells me how the Lincoln family had new memories to make in different places and other things to attend to better their future, which shows how the Mary Todd Lincoln House is such a beautiful place to show what had happened before they had never looked back at this house again, and how much her family had put their lives into this house to make sure she had a home to come back to without any questions asked. Even the things that her family had went through with having slaves in their house and raising them in their environment, they had a lot of outsiders looking in, but not a lot of insiders looking out for them in helping others know the truth. But that basically made people assume other things that wasn't really true. This was hard for them to open up about because of others in their lives. They would always try to let them up and upset them and basically belittle them for having slaves and doing things that they thought other people shouldn't have. When the Mary Todd Lincoln's house had rumors spread around, people had discovered that basically accused them of doing ungodly things to their slaves, which weren't true, basically, is what I'm getting to. But also, it was like people were making up their own stories and just making it about them when it had took a toll on the family with all the things that were being said, when it was actually a different way of the story being told, according to my sources. When finding out the culture behind the Mary Todd Lincoln House, I had discovered that people had go there almost everything to see newer things about this museum. But I forgot to introduce my interviewer. Her name is Lauren Pope, and she is a freshman at the University of Kentucky and is majoring in business administration. I had asked her, would she ever visit the Mary Todd?
Yeah, I think I would. But personally, I think I'd have to wait until the summer. That way I could, be able to see all the details of the house without, mud and stuff from snow, and just be able to take you all in with an open eye.
That she feels that the Mary Todd Museum gives lots of details and information about its historic history, past. The next question that I had given Lauren was, what would make her want to visit this museum, or what would she want to believe that this place is a good place?
I would really want to visit the Mary Todd Lincoln House because it just radiates and displays strengths and weaknesses. Like they obviously had slaves for the time period, and they were treated very differently. I think I would also like to go because that's where Mary Todd herself was raised throughout her childhood to early adulthood.
So basically, in reality, Lauren says that she really would enjoy going to the Mary Todd Lincoln House to maybe do a paper on it in the future, just to see what she had learned. As I had finished up my interview with Lauren, I had went through most of these things and still had thought on why Mary Todd would leave such thing while the house was still in pretty much good shape. To be honest, I think that the most of their family could still be a part of this house, so if they had done things differently to keep the house running in another way other than her just leaving based on her father's death. But I also feel that the culture of this space is the history shared with the Mary Todd Lincoln House on the way that they opened it up to show others how they had this house and made their memories in there by showing their true moments was something that they shared with us now before. But for me, it would have to be how they had came together on what the house is now, to actually have the guts to do what they wanted, to show how much of a true soldier Abraham Lincoln's wife was and the effect that she had on them. The Mary Todd Lincoln House shown her childhood, and after she had left, she had met Abraham Lincoln. After they had gotten married, they had kept the house as a vacation home until 1977, when this house had gotten opened to the public for others to view the stories of this house. To be honest, I think that this house shows a strong impact on others to this day, on how they share with the world their moments and making us being a part of it and us never forgetting.